and we'll be talking with her in reference to public health and what she's doing in reference to healing her country. So she'll be sharing her show, and I would like to say hello to everyone also out there on Facebook who's joining me again. You have joined a Beautify with Jane and the 3Ps, and my guest on today's show is Sue. I am not going to mess up her last name. I'm going to allow her to give you her name in just a moment. But again, I'm talking to this young lady because, I met her and she did a show for me. And she was talking about her journey and about her healing her country and why she's choosing to do that. So I brought her on to the show today so that we could definitely talk about that, and so she can inform you and speak about why she has chose to go into the field that she's going into in public health, and why she's getting a master's degree and her bachelor's degree in chemistry, because she has a heart for her country, and she recognizes the diseases that are in her country, and she recognizes that those things could be healed, but she doesn't only want to heal her country, she wants to heal this country too. So with no further ado, Sue, can you go ahead and introduce yourself? You are so welcome. So as with my former show with What's Your Why, what I did with that, I always started out, with why people do what they do. So, and then in this case, since we have changed the way that I do What's Your Why, and it's now called Beautify with Jane and the 3Ps. So the first thing we're going to talk about is your pain. And so I chose to name this particular show Healing a Country. I would ask, so what caused you to decide to go into the Arbonne products? Why did you choose to go into public health? Why is it that you have a passion to heal the country from what you were born in? Okay, and so and I know I hear you speak about you had several family members that have died from several of the diseases that we deal here with in America, and now they're beginning to deal with it over in Africa and everything. And I know that when we had our meeting, you talked about the food and the things that we eat and things like that. So my question to you, and with your family, with your husband and your children, have you changed the way you eat here in America compared to how your family eats in Africa? And with that, I would say, so not only is part of your pain your family being sick, but I know, like when I first met you at PJs and Purpose, and I like to give a shout out to Toy James and what she does with PJs and Purpose. But you were speaking about, I believe, what was going on in your own system. So that is you have a personal pain, outside of your family and what was going on in your own body because of how you changed the way you ate. You was no longer eating how you was eating in your natural country. So with that, I guess we can switch over to the second P, which is preparation. So because you have your own testimony and how God has healed your body, with what he has done in your preparation and how he has, basically healed. I believe you said you had a mass or something like that in your stomach. Do you mind sharing your story? I mean, I believe that's prevalent for the people to hear, because I don't think people truly understand with all the additives and things that's added into our food, how that contributes to the high rise in diabetes, high blood pressure, fibromyalgia, our children having ADHD, breast cancer, all of these cancers and things like that. Because we can even look at our animals and see how, once upon a time our animals didn't have all these diseases, but now we have animals dying from cancer, we have babies dying from cancer. So I would love for you to share your story and how God healed you, and the products that you use to help with that healing.
Sad. I still don't understand why we have a lot of these things in the foods. And so part of what I was realizing was that a lot of the processed foods that we were eating were having things in there that were not good for our bodies. And so when I was having my issues and I was going from one doctor to the other, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, I started paying attention to the food. I started paying attention to my training, and I just recalled everything that I had learned from my chemistry, but also from my public health degree, because I'm getting my doctorate in public health. So I study a lot of these diseases. And so you're right, a lot of it has to do with our food. So basically, what happened on my journey, when I was having all of this inflammation in my body, and I had, cysts that even ruptured. I had fibroids. I had all kinds of things in my body. My legs would swell, my face sometimes, and I was miserable. I just wasn't feeling well. And so one of my friends had told me about some of the issues that she was having and how she had changed her diet, and she was cutting back on meat, that she had removed meat completely from her diet, and she went vegan. And so she told me about these products that she had tried, Arbonne, which is a completely plant-based program. And so this was almost 2 years ago. When she told me about it, and she had me to try it. And Arbonne actually has a nutrition program called 30 Days to Healthy Living and Beyond. And this program, it's not everything that Arbonne makes is completely plant-based. But another thing that's remarkable about it is that it is formulated in Europe. So in Europe, they have, rules and regulations, and they have so many ingredients are not allowed in a lot of the food. So for instance, high fructose corn syrup is not in anything that Arbonne makes, or and no artificial sweeteners, no artificial colorings, no dyes, none of that. Everything is just whole in its natural state, and it's also non-GMO certified, and it's gluten-free certified. So there's no gluten. There's so many of these things that are known allergens are not in this. And then the program also helps you to eliminate trouble foods. So that's what I did. I got on the program and I started eliminating trouble foods. So things like gluten, dairy, anything that is a known reaction, like to your body, Arbonne removes for those 30 days. And then you get the meal replacement, which is 20 grams of vegan protein in a serving, and you can drink it, you can cook with it, like make protein shakes, or you can make pancakes or whatever, and it's certified low glycemic index, so diabetics can have it as well. And so that was a meal replacement. You get on it, and you have the detox tea, which helps to clean out your kidneys, your liver, and it's all botanicals, all herbs that help to flush out any toxins that you have in your body, in your gut. And then also the body cleanse, which is loaded with natural detox, like, aloe, lemon, and lime. And so I took all of these supplements, and it really, really helped to clean out my system. I lost 12 pounds in the 30 days. I was able to get back to my pre-pregnancy weight within 45 days of being on the program. I had lost an additional 6 pounds after the 30 days. So in 45 days, I lost close to 18 pounds or so. And by the time you saw me, it was at least 15 months after I'd done the program, and I was still maintaining my pre-pregnancy weight in the normal range. And all of the inflammation went away, because that's another thing that the program does. It helps to stabilize your blood glucose levels, balance your body pH, replenish all of the nutrient deficiencies that you might have, cuts down inflammation drastically, and resets your metabolism. And so all of these benefits were the things that I got. And so when I came back to myself, I realized, oh my goodness, I have to share this. So that is how I got introduced to Arbonne, and that is how I have come to use this program to help a lot of my people. My husband has since been cleared from the pre-diabetic stage. He got on the program. He lost 7 pounds in the 30 days. He reset his metabolism, because he's been a skinny person, but he was told he was pre-diabetic and borderline overweight, even though physically he wasn't showing. But he has since been well. And my mom did the program as well, lost some weight. She's doing fabulous now. So, yeah, this is what I've been using to help a lot of people around me, and my family is now very healthy. Thank goodness. Thank God. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that. I know that you definitely, you look well. So, and I guess my next question would be, so basically you changed the way you eat. You no longer, I guess you cook a lot from scratch now. And so you basically gone back to the way you were eating when you were back at home, back in Africa. And do you still continue to use the Arbonne products, or do you mainly rely on just your natural way of eating, your home style of eating? From when I say home style of eating, I mean from the way you ate back at home.
Right, so it's both. So there are Arbonne products, there are supplements there that I use on a daily basis, for instance, the probiotic. And you might know this from going to the doctor to tell you, because as we get older, or our digestive system also gets older, right? So we have to boost it, we have to maintain, and especially after several years of eating, of not eating well in this culture, you realize that your GI system might not be doing as well. So most of us adults need a probiotic, a daily probiotic. And of course we need multivitamins, because we may not be getting everything in our diet. So we do need supplementation. Is incredibly important. And things like, the collagen, because as we get older, the most abundant protein in our body, in our skin especially, and in the connective tissue is collagen. And so I still use Arbonne products for some of the supplements that I need. The protein shake is we always just have it, because if we're running out, like today we were rushing out and we didn't have time to make breakfast, we just bring the powder with us and you just add water, and it's a full meal with, 20 grams of protein and 20 essential vitamins and minerals. And so it's a full complete meal with everything you need. So we just always keep it, but it's not a diet. It's more like a lifestyle. And so we do our detox tea every night just to help with the digestion and to help to clean out our gut. But yes, we are cooking whole and eating whole. We're getting the non-GMO foods. We're buying just about everything fresh. And we're doing quite a bit of meal prep, because we're both very busy, and getting my doctorate, my husband's a professor, we're both very busy. So we do quite a bit of meal prep. Like I cook my sauces from scratch. We go to the farmer's market. or we buy everything in bulk, and we have freezers. So what we would do is we'll make our sauces, like the tomatoes or the vegetable, whatever sauce it is that we'd like to make. We make it from scratch, from all of the whole vegetables, and then we prep it and we freeze it so that when it's time to cook our meals, you just take it out and then you finish cooking what it is that you want to do. So yeah, we do a lot of that.
Okay, so now we have talked about the first P, which was your pain, and your pain, it was, basically watching your family die from many what could be and what can be considered as preventable diseases. Some of it is hereditary, and you just can't get past what's hereditary, but you can lower your chances. And then we talked about your the second P, which is preparation. Well, part of the first P of pain is, basically what your own body went through and dealing with all the additives and, all the different things you're not eating the way you were used to eating when you were back at home, and, what your own body went through. And then we spoke about your preparation, and which is the second P, and how you have changed your diet, how you have used the Arbonne products and how you continue to use the Arbonne products to help heal your body, to get you to that next level, or to continue to, work on that level, and how God has used the Arbonne products to heal your body and continue to, not only heal you, but to heal, your family members around you. But so now let's talk about your purpose. And you shared your passion with me, which is going back to your home country and just basically healing your home country. So I guess the question behind that is, what is your full passion behind? Well, I understand your passion behind going back to your home country and healing your home country, but and part of that is you getting your doctorate in public health, and you tell me your whole journey in that, and that's a journey in and of itself, because you live in Maryland but you go to school in Kentucky. So, and you travel back and forth, and you have 2 little children. So that there is a journey in and of itself. I have to say, you go, woman. Sometimes we can be, everybody talk about army strong, this strong, that strong, but sometimes you got to be woman strong, and that is woman strong, traveling back and forth. And I have to give props to your husband, who holds down the fort while you're at school and things like that. Big props to hubby. So I give you thumbs up, hubby, for allowing, well, not necessarily allowing, but working with your wife, and as she travels back and forth to Kentucky to get her doctorate. But my question would be, how do you see God using you in healing your country?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Lord has been laying so much on my heart. So much has been, it's being downloaded, if you will, as I spend time in God's presence and as I ask what the next thing is. And there's quite a bit on the horizon. So like you said, I'm getting my doctorate in public health, and if you know anything about public health, then it really is what it is called, public health, the health of the public. So we learn a lot about the different diseases and the different conditions that people have that could be preventable. And you mentioned another thing about genetics. I would like to say that in public health, we have learned, and we often teach people to understand that 95% of the diseases that we have and see, 95% are actually environmental. It's only about 90 to 95% are environmental. So only about 5 to 10% are genetic or hereditary. So you see, we can really prevent a whole lot. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But because
see, research shows.
Not to cut you off, but what we are taught on the other side of that is that, when we go to the doctor, our doctor tell us it's in our genetics, that because of our genetics, quote unquote, we're bound to have diabetes, we're bound to have heart disease, we're bound to have this or that or the other. But in listening, and you stating that it's only 5% genetics, and you studying public health, 5%. you saying that it's only 5% public health. 5% genetics, and the rest is our environment. So the rest is what we're putting in our body. The rest is how we're treating our body and what we're doing to our body, not necessarily because our great-grandmother and our grandmother and our mother had diabetes or high blood pressure, or had this cancer or that cancer, or had heart disease. It's more so because we followed what they did. We eat what they eat. We have sedentary lives. We're not out there exercising. We're not, like you said, preparing our meals. We go and grab the Stouffer's lasagna instead of using I bought an Instapot. Yay me. Instead of preparing, a lasagna in an Instapot, or making our own, our own lasagna from scratch, which is more cost effective in the long run, actually. But, as I say all of that, as I speak about all of that, you speak about, at home, in Africa, how there that processed food it's more expensive. Whereas here in America, processed food is cheaper. Whereas our healthier foods are more expensive. If you want to make a lot of things from scratch, that can be more expensive compared to buying, like I said, the Stouffer lasagna. You can go and buy the Stouffer lasagna and you pay like 8, 9, 10, 13, anywhere from $8 to $15 for it. But if you go and buy all the products for it, time you get the cottage cheese, the noodles, and, now mind you, as you're getting these things, you want to get the noodles that are, whole grain noodles, and you want to get the grass-fed beef, or you want to get the grain-free chicken, and you want to get the cage-free eggs, and, those things are expensive when you want to go that route, or more natural route, so it makes it more expensive here in America to eat that way compared to in your country. But getting back to how you see God using you, and then I'm going to have you switch over to Facebook so we can continue this conversation, because right now I have you on Blog Talk Radio, but I'm going to have you switch over and join me in Facebook so people on Facebook can see you and everything. And then if they have any questions, they'll be able to ask you any questions there over on Facebook, because right now I just have you on Blog Talk Radio. But, and so if you can, start to explain how you see God using you to take this information, because if they're already over there eating naturally and preparing their foods, if they're already doing that, then how will God be using you to go back there to help them in eating different and preparing different, so that they're not suffering from the same diseases that we are here in America?
Yes, I will touch on that as soon as you speak. Yeah, that was kind of where I started with what I was saying about the genetics and the environment, and I will be happy to continue with that and explain. So let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, just go ahead and join me over on Facebook, so I can go ahead and end it here on Blog Talk Radio. So I would say to my Blog Talk listeners that you can join me over on Facebook Live. That's where we're headed now to finish up the show. And that's Facebook. You can find me at Jane Coy on Facebook, and I'm going to finish up there with Sue in Healing a Country. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask her, even if it's about meal preparation, even if it's about, if you have any questions about Arbonne, I will be listing her website and some other information on Facebook for you to be able to click and catch up with her there. So with that, I say on Blog Talk Radio, thank you for joining me again here on Blog Talk Radio. I'm glad to be back and everything. And so, as I said before, we're no longer What's Your Why. We're now called Beautify with Jane and the 3 Ps. So I will see you again next month with another person. So again, thanks for joining.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
So, people on Facebook, I hope you can hear me. I am waiting for, there she goes, for Sue to join me on Facebook. Hey, Johanna. Love you, baby. Oh, no. Johan. Sorry. Even with my glasses on, I still can't see. So I'm just trying to bring Sue onto Facebook so we can continue. There.
Hi, Jane.
So we were going to finish up the question you was going to answer how God is, how you see God using you, healing
Mm-hmm.
your country.
Yes. Thank you, Jane.
You're
And
welcome.
yeah, I was gonna say that yes, absolutely, God has been laying so much on my heart, and He has been, basically using part of my preparation through my education as a public health professional and my background in chemistry and some of the things that I teach here with Arbonne and teaching about a healthy lifestyle through meal prep and supplementation. And so part of this I plan to take back home to Africa, to Nigeria specifically, to share with the people. Because let me just give you a little bit of a background. Like I said,
Go ahead. I'm
okay.
listening. I'm here.
I hear an echo. It's
Oh,
repeating everything I was saying.
it's because I have, so I can hear you on my speaker. So that's the reason why I was trying to turn it down a little bit so that I could
Okay.
hear you. But yes,
Okay.
there. Go ahead.
Okay.
You're gonna get some feedback, unfortunately,
Yes.
because of the way we're doing this. But go ahead.
Right. So I was saying that part of what I'm observing back home is that people are
Just keep talking. You're gonna get the feedback. So, um,
okay.
yeah. I mean, you're hearing the feedback. No one else is hearing the feedback.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I'll just keep talking. So like I was saying, back home, right, a lot of people are they understand the value of eating well. However, not everybody is doing it. And that is why we're having a lot of the issues that we're having right now with diabetes and obesity, because people are not eating in the right proportion. And so part of what I'm trying to go back home and teach is portion control, but also explaining to people the value of what's in their food, especially the greens and the whole foods, and not necessarily copying the bad habits of eating processed foods from, you know, other countries like the Western world, for instance. And so that's part of what I'm looking forward to going home to teach. And then also, a lot of people don't understand the value of supplementation, that it's not always possible to get all of the nutrients that we need from food alone, because most people, if you say, oh, eat 5 fruits and vegetables a day, 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, not everybody does that. And so for people that are not able to do that, they need to supplement. So that's part of the training and the preparation that I plan to take back home. And this is what I teach even with Arbonne, because I'm teaching people how to eat right, to eat a healthy meal, and how to cook it, in an efficient way. Because for many people, they can't eat right because they don't have the time. Not only that, it's not affordable, because it's possible to eat healthy at an affordable rate. And so that's some of the things that we teach, even with our Arbonne training, because we teach you how to shop as well. So we give like the shopping list, and we show you some of the stores that you can go to. Like I always joke and I say, hey, you can find anything healthy you need at, at Aldi's, because I
This is
shop
true.
there. Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah, at Aldi's, and you can get gluten-free stuff at Aldi's. You can get organic things at Aldi's, or non-GMO things, and you can cook. Like, even with some of the meals that people are eating are not serving their bodies. And so that's another thing that I teach. And like you gave an example about eating lasagna. Well, if it's going to be too expensive to make your own lasagna from scratch, how about we make, baked salmon and with, broccoli on the side or asparagus on the side? You're going to say, oh, that's expensive. I can prove to you that it's not, because I shop from Aldi's and I get some of these things from over there, and they're not as expensive. You can, for the same amount that you might want to eat something else that doesn't serve your body, you may be able to buy those things from a least expensive store and put it together. And even though you eat smaller portions, they fill you up, because you're eating the right things. You're eating the right protein, the whole protein. You're eating the vegetables that have fiber. And so you're staying full longer.
And that's the key, is being,
Yes.
it's not the quantity, but the
Mm-hmm.
quality of the food that you eat.
Absolutely.
You know, and so, and I was reading a comment from one of our
Mm-hmm.
viewers, one of my
Mm-hmm.
lovelies, and her name is Jennifer. And at once upon a time, I should say once upon a time, but not long ago, she lived in Honduras. And again, like I say, I have on glasses. I'm believing what I'm seeing here is she said that she said that when she was in Honduras, she said eating processed food was the status symbol, and that it was also more expensive in Honduras to eat processed food there,
Mm-hmm.
compared to, her eating, like here. Processed food is cheap. You can go and buy, your box macaroni and cheese, which I cannot stand. I cannot stand box macaroni and cheese. Um, how do you make powdered cheese, people? No, you know, um, I'm off subject, but I don't understand it. But but I done lost my train of thought and everything. But thinking about that powdered cheese. But
Oh, Lord.
forgive me,
You
people.
need deliverance.
Yes. Well, no, people need deliverance from that powdered cheese. That's why the kids in class cutting up. They eat powdered cheese. But Um, but as I was saying, she was stating that in Honduras it was the same thing. For her to eat processed food, to my understanding of her statement, for her to eat processed food, it was more expensive compared to her eating, as you say, preparing her food and things like that. I know that, she prepares a lot of her stuff still now that she's back here in America and stuff like that. And big ups to you, Jen, um, and you and your family over there. Hi, Kiana, love you. Um, but I think it's important that we learn just in general, if we want to get to better health. That part of that is not just eating healthy, but making sure that we eating. The quality of food that we're eating, as you said, such as eating the whole grains and the better foods, and getting away from, a lot of people are switching over to keto diets and things like that, and they're leaving out I'm laughing at a comment that someone made,
Okay.
because she has a tribe that she feeds. So,
Okay.
so yes, she does. So, but not she see, Jennifer, you caused me to lose my train of thought. Yes, Kiana, stop eating
Okay.
the box macaroni and cheese. Yes, it is bad for you. That is not
Mm-hmm.
real cheese. It is not ground up and made into powder. I don't know what that stuff is. But as I was saying, it's it's the quality of what we eat. Because you hear people say you need to eat 5 meals a day. It's
Mhm.
not necessarily having to eat the 5 meals a day, but it's the necessarily eating better quality of food. As we walk away, I know every year we hear something new, that wheat is bad for you, eggs is bad for you, this is bad for you, that is bad for you, and things like that. And that, as you were stating, that if we sometimes just change the stores that we shop at, that we can also get better foods and, frozen foods or whatever the case may be. You don't have to jump right into organic foods and things like that. But the main reason why I wanted you on the show today is because of your story and how God healed you, because the way you change the way you eat.
Mhm.
And also because of how you use the products to help change the way you eat and help to heal your body. But when we did the show that you had, that we did at the restaurant, one of the
Mhm.
key things that I found that you had said that I think that is important was that, which I didn't know, and I think most people don't know, is that
Mhm.
how most of our diseases start in our digestive system. Because
Yes.
as I was speaking about, as I deal with, my own, most people who know me know that I'm bipolar too, and that's just basically my body not making enough serotonin or whatever
Mhm.
the case may be. But and that's a lack of a chemical in the brain. But as we
Yes.
talked about that, you was like, but
Yes.
yet that starts in my
It's
digestion,
in
that
the gut.
starts in my stomach. And
Yeah.
so if that's
80% of
not
it.
right,
Mhm. It's in the
then
gut.
my brain cannot get that signal to basically tell my body, you need to make more serotonin. Your
Mhm.
body doesn't, your brain doesn't get the signal to say you're producing too much sugar. Your body doesn't get the signal to say, okay, your blood pressure is too high because of all the gunk that we have in our digestive system. And I think it's very key that as we talk to you, and people understand that I'm not just talking to someone who is, just out there, but you are studying public health. You're getting your doctorate in public health right now. And
Mhm.
you also have your bachelor's degree in chemistry pre-med. So you are a person, this is what you're studying. You know, this is your passion. It's not like, okay, she's just trying to set Arbonne, but it's like Arbonne is the avenue that you're
Mhm.
using, to
Mhm.
help get people healthy. But the thing is that you're actually studying. And I think that was the other thing that really drew me to
Mhm.
you, is that
Mhm.
you're actually studying the chemistry. You're actually studying the diseases. You're actually studying the public
Mhm.
health because of what went on in your body, because of
Mhm.
what you see go on in your own family, people dying and things like
Mhm.
that, because of their health situation or whatever. But now,
Mhm.
as your body has healed and is continuing to heal, and you see your husband body heal, he's no longer pre-diabetic, because a lot of times the moment we become pre-diabetic, the doctor says, well, you need to go on,
Mhm.
what is that, metformin. And a lot of
Right.
times people, when they go on metformin, they end up becoming diabetic,
Right.
because they never changed their diet. But if you
Mhm.
could speak more on the whole digestion piece, and then if
Absolutely.
anybody who's watching and you have any questions that you want to ask Sue, please go ahead and type it in the comments, and I can ask her for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's talk about the gut. I'm so thankful that you brought this up, because this is something that I feel I want to stand on the rooftops and I just want to blast it out as loud as I can, that every single person needs to pay attention to their gut. Now, a lot of what we eat, right? So the GI system controls practically the whole body. Like you see, like we say the heart controls the body, yes, but the GI system, the gut, when we eat, it goes into our stomach, right? And then our stomach does its work, and then the our pancreas has to release the hormones that we need. And even with diabetes, it's because of the imbalance of sugar, right, in our blood. And when every time we consume something, our pancreas needs to release the hormones. so that they can open up our cells, right? Like the insulin, that's what it is. It'll open up our cells so that our bodies can metabolize this sugar. And so when something is wacky, then things start to go haywire. Now, why is our gut important? Our gut is important because nutrient absorption happens in the small intestines. And so if our body isn't breaking down the nutrients properly into the parts that we need for our brain to make the chemicals that it needs, then something is wrong. You mentioned serotonin, right? 80%, the research shows that 80% of serotonin is made in the gut. And that's because when we eat, proteins get broken down into amino acids. And this happens in the small intestines. And so when we eat, the digestive enzymes help us to break down our food. And with Arbonne, we have what we call the Digestion Plus, which is our probiotic. Now, this probiotic doesn't only help with our digestion, but it also helps with absorption in the small intestines, because it helps us to break down those proteins, those peptides, into amino acids, which our body then uses, our brain uses those amino acids, right, to make serotonin, which is our feel-good hormone. And so you realize that a lot of people have gut issues in America because we're not eating right, but also we're heavily medicated. So most people use antibiotics that clear out all of the good bacteria in our gut. So we're not really digesting our food properly, and we're not absorbing properly. So we're overfed but malnourished here in America. Overfed but undernourished or malnourished, because our body isn't using up the things that we're eating. The other thing is inflammation, because when we're eating things that our body cannot break down, like the gluten, for instance, when people say, oh, you should go gluten-free and all that, it's because research shows that our bodies cannot really digest, the modern wheat. The modern protein is gluten is a wheat protein, and our body isn't able to properly handle that. And so it causes, the gut irritation. And if your body isn't doing what it's supposed to do, and it keeps trying over and over, that causes, the cellular level inflammation. And when your cells are inflamed, they're not going to be able to absorb the nutrients. They're not going to be able to get rid of what it doesn't need. And so that is why in Arbonne, we focus on your gut, because we're giving you the Digestion Plus, which is your probiotic, but also your life culture enzymes that not only help to digest carbohydrate, fat, protein, lactose, and fiber, but it also works throughout your gut, throughout the small intestines, so that you're able to absorb those nutrients and your body can make that serotonin. That's why most people that have been on the Arbonne 30 Days to Healthy Living program are happy. Why? Because your body's making the feel-good hormone, the serotonin, right? You're functioning the body's functioning in its proper state, because your metabolism is balanced. It's all about balance, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have a quick question, and this
Go
comes
ahead.
from
Hmm.
Minister Kiana. She wants to
Yes.
know. She asks us the question: where do you recommend we start in healthy living? So I would ask
Yes.
that you would give one, just naturally where we could
Yes.
start, and then I guess the other would be a product for Arbonne. I guess you just recommended one product for Arbonne that
Hmm.
people could use, but so we got the product out the way. So
Hmm.
naturally, for her, let's say, what could she
Hmm.
do naturally, or just in changing in her lifestyle to start in healthy living?
Okay. So the first thing that we often would recommend is to make a list of what you're already doing. So basically, take inventory of what you're doing now. What does your typical day look like? So when you wake up, what do you eat? In the afternoon, like for lunch, what do you eat? So you look at all those things, and then you see, okay, this is what I'm eating, that's what I'm eating. And then you also say, okay, am I eating too much fat? Am I eating too much salt? Am I eating too many carbs? Because that's portion control is where we really start, because you're supposed to eat the right things in the right proportion. And so, like, for instance, we show you in Arbonne how to fill your plate. So half of your plate is greens, green vegetables, and 1/4 of your plate is a healthy protein, and you want a lean protein. You can eat meat, but you want to make sure that your meat is lean. So 1/4 of your plate will be, that healthy protein. It could be could be, chicken, but you want to make sure you're getting, antibiotic free, hormone free chicken, so you're not getting all the excess stuff. And then the other 1/4 of your plate that's left, 1/8 needs to be a healthy fat, so avocados, seeds, nuts. And then the other 1/8, you want to make sure it's a healthy carb. And so it could be a sweet potato, it could be a whole grain. So that's where I would have you start, basically looking at what you're doing. And somebody else might be listening and saying, well, I eat healthy, but nothing is changing. I can't shake the weight. And so so for such a person, I would say that's where Arbonne kind of comes in with our 30 Days to Healthy Living program, because we're basically rebooting your system. So if you want to learn more about that, I recommend that they reach out to me so I can set them up correctly with it, because that's more like a reboot of your metabolism. Yeah.
Okay, so I have another a question, because
Yes.
and I like that Minister Kiana asked this one, because
Right.
we hear all the time that
Yes.
to drink more water, and part of what
Yes.
she's doing is she states that she drinks 2 large glasses of water before every meal. Is that a good idea?
So I always tell people that for me, even from part of my training, moderation and balance is key. Everything is, they usually tell you, you've probably heard, oh, it's not, you can eat whatever you want. I'm not saying you should eat whatever you want. I don't recommend that, but I'm saying moderation is key. So yes, you should drink enough water throughout the day. So 2 glasses of water before you eat, or 3 times a day, isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, I drink 2 glasses of water in the morning before I eat. And I drink throughout the day, because you want to stay hydrated. You want to make sure your kidneys are flush. You want to make sure, your, and that's why they often say check your pee, right? You want to check your urine to see if it's dark, then you're not drinking enough. You want your pee to be as clear as possible. And that is a testament to how much you're drinking. So I don't think, if she's eating six meals a day, that's about 6 glasses of water, and that's pretty good.
Well, no,
And
she
so,
says that she drink. Well, this is her comment. She says, "I drink
yeah.
2 glasses of water before every meal," and she says she's definitely undernourished. And then she recognizes that she don't eat healthy foods, and I believe she's gonna start out with
Yes.
the plate recommendation, the
Right.
plate recommendation that you
Yes.
made, which is, I believe you said 50% green.
Yes.
50%
Half of your plate.
green. And
Yes.
say, can you give that to us again? You said 50% of
Yes.
your plate should be green.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about plates and not percentages, because that's just, math is just too much. So take your plate, cut it in half. Half of it should be all greens, and you want to get greens, are great for you because they're power foods.
And you're referring to dark greens, correct?
Dark greens, so it could be your kale, it could be your collard. Oh, and another thing, don't cook your greens for 2 hours, and don't load them up with fat and grease.
You hear that,
No,
people?
don't do that.
Greens forever.
Right, you can't do that. You can eat your greens, you can steam them, and you can cook it in like 4 minutes. Okay, you can even eat them raw. So yeah,
I'm guilty.
no,
Throw them in the
no,
crock pot and cook them for 6
because
hours.
no, that just messes everything up. You might as well not eat it.
Because basically you're removing all the nutrients when basically you cook it that long. And I think a lot of people,
Right.
it's like the same thing with broccoli. If your
Yeah.
broccoli is mushy, you're just
Yeah.
eating mushy broccoli. You're not
Right.
getting any of the
Right.
nutrients and stuff
Right.
like that. So you're
So
saying that half of your plate should be dark greens.
dark greens, spinach is a
then
good place to start. You can't go wrong with spinach. You can just look at it and the thing just kind of like, wilts, if you will.
so this is every
So-
plate, correct? So
every plate. So like, for instance, and it's pretty simple to do this. And you can do, if you just think about what you're eating, right? Whatever it is, it could be your breakfast, it could be your lunch, it could be your dinner. and just find a way to where you're cutting back on the amount of carbs and other things that you're eating, because you want to eat in the right proportion. So you're filling it up with greens that are loaded with fiber, so you're going to stay full longer, and 1/4 of that plate is going to be your lean protein. Does that make
So
sense?
the next half of your plate, you divide that in half, basically,
Yes,
and then half of that should be your lean protein.
your lean protein. And it could be like 2 hard boiled eggs. It
Okay.
could be like 2 hard boiled eggs. It could be, right, right.
I know you're getting
Mm-hmm.
my feedback. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you can do that, and then you can have like a one sweet potato, which is your healthy carb. And let me just explain a little bit about the carbs. So there are two. It's fine. There are two kinds of carbs, right? We have the simple carbohydrates and we have the complex carbohydrates. The simple carbohydrates are the ones that will spike your blood sugar. So anything white, all the processed stuff, or the bleached things, the white potato, the white stuff, that spikes your blood glucose like that, like really quickly. And that's why, even for people that are diabetic, they probably would tell you, oh, you don't want to eat all the white stuff. Now, the darker roots and carbs, those are the complex ones. So it takes a long time. They break down slowly so they don't spike your blood glucose. That's why the sweet potato is healthier. But you also have other grains, like you have the oatmeal, you have millet, you have spelt, you have things that we call pseudo grains. And you can Google these. And then we have quinoa. We have some pseudo grains that they look like grains, but they're actually proteins. So that's like quinoa. Quinoa is a complete protein. And complete means it has all 9 essential amino acids in it. And so you can go with something like that. And then things like beans also have carbohydrates in them. So sometimes for me, if I'm trying to cut back on carbs, I'll just eat my beans. But I know I'm getting my protein and I'm also getting my carbs in there. So these are some examples.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
also, because I
Hmm.
guess one of the things I think people should also understand is that
Yeah.
a meal is just a meal. Just because it's breakfast time does not
Yes.
necessarily mean that you have to eat eggs and bacon and so on and so
No.
forth. If you want to have a big salad for breakfast, with chicken
Sure
or shrimp or
can.
whatever on it, then that's what you have for breakfast. Breakfast, I mean, a meal is a meal. I think
Right.
sometimes we as people get so caught up in the title of the meal than the
Right.
meal itself. We break our necks in trying to find the healthy breakfast because we want to have
Mhm.
the eggs and the bacon, and we're
Mhm.
trying to figure that out when you could have the sweet potato and
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
some other
And
lean protein. Not
right.
necessarily do you have to have eggs, or not necessarily do you have to have oatmeal. And it's the same thing when it comes to when you eat your meal in the evening.
Mhm.
Not necessarily is the thing. The key thing is that your is that your meal be, I guess your plate would be, half of it would be green, and then the other half you would break down in quarters and make sure that you get
Mhm.
your lean protein, your good starch, and your healthy fat. And that
Right.
would be the key thing to make.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I would
And
have to say,
Go ahead.
I'm so glad that you came on today, and I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
that you shared your story, and that
Mhm.
you spoke with everyone today, and you shared some great information, because I think we're all trying to get healthy. We're all trying to go to a healthy place. I know for me, that's one reason why I connected with you.
Mhm.
I connected with you because I loved your passion. I
Mhm.
love what you stated. I love how how the products, but not because the products healed your body, but because you had a passion to see others healed,
Mhm.
and that you also had a passion to go to your own country to heal, and that you're not only selling a product, but you're studying about the health and the chemistry and the science behind it.
Mhm.
I would definitely share this information on your page, Tia. Have a great time in class. So
Thank
with
you.
that, I will say to everyone that I will be posting Sue's website at the bottom. So you're able to connect with her if you have any questions that you would like to ask her any further, so that you can connect with her, or even if you want to get some of the products. I will also be posting a link and a code down in the comments here on Facebook, and what you will need to do in order to basically go into that link and order products. And then her information will also be there, so that she can connect with you if you have any questions for her or anything. I also would like to let everyone know that me and Sue each month well, not each month, every couple of months, we will be hosting a healthy show. Basically, we're going to meet out at a restaurant or in a community center or something like that. And she's going to come out and she's going to talk to everyone. And you're welcome. You'll be able to come out and ask her even more questions. She's going to come out and she's going to teach us some of these things that she's talking about, how to make a healthy plate. She's not only about her Arbonne products. She's about seeing people healed. She's about seeing people healthy. She just uses Arbonne to help you get there. But she's going to be teaching us more about our digestion, and she's going to be teaching us more about meal preparations and things like that. So again, every couple of months. So be looking forward to that. You can again follow me on Blog Talk Radio .com/BWJ, which is Beautified with, what stands for Beautified with Jane. Again, the show has changed from What's Your Why to Beautified with Jane, and Beautified with Jane presents the three P's. Today I had on our show Sue, and who's basically out to heal her country. But she's not only healing her country, she's also trying to heal us here in the USA. She's trying to get us to have a better gut and everything. And she travels back and forth to Kentucky. People, she lives here in Maryland. She travels back and forth. So she is woman strong. So I would like to say thank you to her for joining us. I'll also be posting this on YouTube. I'll put a link out there for you, for anyone who wants to come back and view this again on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, do know we are no longer live. So you can still ask questions and you can still connect with her and everything. Yes, we all do need a better gut, Tia. So I think that would probably be our next session that we will do. We will probably do it sometime, I hope in October, Sue.
Yes,
The
that's
next
fun.
time that we will do our little info session will probably be
Okay.
in October, where she will come out and she would, because I think a lot of people are interested in that whole gut piece. And she
Yes.
would come out and she would speak a little bit more about the gut. So, but before I leave here today, I would definitely like to offer you Christ. If you do not have a relationship with Christ, I say to you, time is winding up. You need a relationship with Christ. So I say to you, connect with Jesus before you connect with people, because you need him in any and all things. And if you're looking for a church home, I have to say you have to come out here. So you have to come to where I have the perfect word chef. And yes, I call this man a word chef because Pastor Billy know how to slice it, dice it, and serve the word well with great understanding for both young, middle, and old. So I asked you to join us at Providence St. John Baptist Church. We would definitely help you to develop a relationship with Christ, to develop a relationship with the Word, because the Word is also important as you develop a relationship with Christ. So, with that, everyone, I say thank you for joining me here on Facebook Live. I also say thank you for joining me on Blog Talk Radio. I will see you again next month on our next show. And again, look in the comments below for Sue's information and also the links and everything. So, with that, I say good night, good night, good night. And thank you for joining. And Sue, you have anything you want to say to the people?
I just want to say thank you all so much for tuning in and for listening to me. It's been an honor and a privilege just to be out here doing what God has purposed me to do, and just you know, living life to the fullest. So thank you, and I look forward to connecting with any and all of you. Reach out to me on Facebook. I'm Suur Yakubu on Facebook, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much, and have a blessed evening.
All right. So bye everyone. Again, I'll be sharing it. And I'm quite sure Sue will be sharing it on her page. But I'll try to figure out why you wasn't able to share it from Facebook, because you should have been able to share it. But I'll look it up. But we was having problems. You know, when you're doing
Okay.
something you're supposed to do, things sometimes just don't go right. But I don't allow nothing to stop me.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it might slow me down, but it's not gonna stop me. All right.
Right.
Good night, people.
Right. Bye, Jane. Thank you.
You're welcome.